Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of DHDI Profiles. I am Lauren Gaw and today we are here with AeB. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what does AeB stand for?
It's my initials, actually.
Okay.
Adrienne, Aaron, Byrne. So I spell it AeB.
Right.
When I was a kid, then one of my birthday parties, my sister and I came up with it, and it stuck for years.
Yeah.
Now it's a conversation starter.
Well, it started our conversation. But we do have to ask questions. So my first question is, how did you get into music?
Well, my mom tells me that when we were little babies and toddlers, then my sister used to complain, "Mom, Adrienne's dancing to the music in her head again. It's weird." So yeah, I guess I've kind of always been into music, and I still often get fidgety, and I'll get a nudge from someone sitting next to me. "What are you doing?"
You're just bragging out to yourself, like your own music.
Always something happening here. So yeah, my dad's a musician, so that no doubt had something to do with it. Hearing lots of saxophone playing even while I was in the womb. So he's a jazz sax player, and
Do you play the saxophone?
A little bit, but I never took to it as much as the flute, which is, he doubles on the flute, so that was kind of something I could do that I could learn from him, but was my own sound, because otherwise it would just be weird because I was doing his thing. So since then, now I play sax, but still flute is way more my thing.
Okay.
And we always had instruments in the house and stuff, and eventually I ended up doing some pretty serious classical music training. For a while that was like my direction I was going to take, but then I also grew up in a college town, so I ended up playing in rock bands, bar bands, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, I had spent a lot of time doing that, and it all kind of evolved into this eclectic palette of different instruments and genres that kind of laid the groundwork for how my career path went.
Yeah. Now, are we going to talk about this instrument right here? It looks kind of like a prehistoric UFO.
I like that description.
What is this?
A prehistoric UFO, actually.
Oh, right, duh.
Of course. No, this is called a handpan.
Handpan, okay.
And despite its prehistoric look, it's actually a pretty new instrument. They're only a couple decades old. The original instrument was called a hong drum, and that was invented in Switzerland. And so those were invented around 2000, and then they stopped making them for a while, and then people started learning how to recreate this thing, and so that evolved into the handpan, which is basically the same instrument.
Okay.
They're really fun and easy to play too. You should try it.
Oh, I get to try it.
Yes.
Okay, what do I do?
So you've got different notes here.
Okay,
Each
so
of
these
the
are all
rings.
different notes.
Yeah. The little dimples in between just stabilize the metal. So they have a little tone to them, but really it's all in the ring around the outside.
Okay, so you play on the outside ring, not inside.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm already doing it.
And you can really, you can do all sorts of different things. Some people play with their thumb or the flat part of their finger, or you can play with your fingertips. You can get creative and use your knuckles. And you see people that have played different types of percussion before will try different things. Nice.
And can you really play anywhere on, even though it's basically these rings and here, I guess, but you can tap anywhere kind of.
Yeah, it has different sounds, especially, they call it the shoulder around the edge of the ding, which is the big note.
Okay.
All these crazy handpan terms, but yeah, so that kind of has interesting overtones, and then you'll see people use the space in between as like, you can use it as other percussion, or a lot of times, especially when I'm looping, instead of a shaker.
Oh, there's all kinds of things you can do.
So it's really fun and intuitive, and a lot of people, even if they're not like trained musicians or have always loved music but never thought of themselves as a musician, they take this instrument pretty easily because it's, even with just one note, one simple thing, and it's a pleasing sound. It's musical instant gratification.
Yeah. Now, I am obviously very, very good at this, but
You're
can
doing
I
well,
hear...
actually, for a first try. Yeah, you got a sound out of it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Can I hear you play something?
Absolutely.
Okay. love that I called it a UFO because it kind of sounds otherworldly. Now, how did you discover the handpan?
I first saw them on YouTube, which is another interesting thing about such a new instrument, that the culture surrounding it really largely has happened online because they're here and there all over the world, and when people see it, oh my gosh, what is this? And you start searching for them. And for a while, after the original makers stopped making them, then they were really hard to find, and people were paying $10,000, $15,000 for them because it was just extremely rare. And it's such a once you get hooked on that sound, people really go down the rabbit hole with it. It's the only thing like that. But then once other people started making them, and they started to become a little more available, started to see them pop up online here and there a little more, and one of the people that decided to start making them turned out to be a piano student of mine here in LA.
Well, that's perfect.
So yeah, after, it was probably, I don't know, 5 or 10 years after I'd first seen one on a YouTube video and was like, wow, that's so cool. And then it was just kind of forgotten for a while. And then they just came into my life. This student of mine was like, look, I discovered this instrument. I'm in love with it. I'm trying to figure out like what notes need to go on it and how this works. Can you help me figure this out? I was like, yes,
please. It was like fate.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
They really found me.
Where can I find a handpan?
You can talk to me about it.
Okay.
They're all over.
Yeah?
This one was made right here in LA.
Oh, and do they sell them in stores, or is it something?
You can find some in stores. They're handmade instruments, so it's still a little bit hit and miss with, some of the other percussion companies are trying to connect with makers and sell them in stores, and even for the companies that are making them on a larger scale, then it's difficult to keep them in stock because it's a delicate, each one's unique. You really want to play them in person, but if you have people coming through banging away on them, then it can change the instrument a little. So it still is very kind of person to person.
Right. One of the things I love about it is how portable it is. Can you just play it in your lap?
Yeah, you definitely can. They actually have a hole in the bottom that helps the sound resonate. So when you're seated, then it's like perfect. It fits right between your legs, and you can play like that. And I love to go sit in the park and play and just see, introduce the instrument to people because it's such a fun thing to share.
Because I've never seen anything like that. I would love to walk past you playing it in the park.
Yeah, and it's cool because it has this tribal quality to it. It feels very like an ancient instrument from somewhere.
Right, but it's so new, which is crazy.
And it's not really attached to any one culture at this point, so it kind of is like creating its own new tribal feel. It's pretty special in that way. So people from many different cultures, like when I was in the park, there was a gentleman that came and talked to me. He was so excited because his wife is Native American, and he's like, this sounds just like the native music. It has that feeling to it, but it's out here with this instrument I've never seen. And that was really cool to me that he could connect in that way. And it's, obviously has a lot to do with steel drums too. It's made out of steel and hammered to tune it. And so its lineage also connects to the music of the Caribbean, Trinidad, and which links back to African music. So it really connects with a lot of different people in a special way.